All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Bahashim, Rakakadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations and blessings to you sincere brothers out there pushing the truth across the four corners of earth. All right, I'm the brother Shaman of Great Millstone, Chicago. Hey man, just wanted to jump in on this history real quick, because just like right now we're seeing these elections play out. We're seeing these big debates, all of these things basically leading up to the end, and you can see the divisions is so heavy, what I'm saying, it's starting to even bleed through into hurting Esau's government ruling. All right, and that's something that is interesting to watch, because right now the Lord is setting up his government, just like it talks about, in Isaiah, the first chapter. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get that. All right, and he shows us, him being that profane person, his spirit being not right in him, how you don't want to be as a ruler, hey, because just like the Lord has set up men, it's called different men out of the four corners of the earth. He has us in a certain order. Well, at a certain point, the Lord is building up, his government for, when we're going to rule over not just the world, but the whole universe, right? Just like it says, and that's what the blessing of Jacob basically is. All right, that rulership over everything. Well, let's get into it. Matter of fact, it's Isaiah 2:1. Matter of fact, 2 and 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days, right? The last days of the rulership, basically before the kingdom. The last days where this world has its, its own little free reign. Before the Israelites come to take over, that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. When you look that word up, let's get that. That's not the one I want. Oh, that is the one. So like it. All right, because when you look it up, even Esau knows, understands, as you can see. It says Bible verses about mountains, symbol of governments, right? That's what it's talking about. All right, and Esau, he even knows that. All right, and when you look at the history of Jake, every time Jake tries to rise up in power, what's the first thing that they do? They create their own. They try to create their own governing body, their own governing system. All right, the Panthers did it. The different parts in the Northern Kingdom. Different parts of South America, the Caribbean. They tried to do it. When they took certain islands back from the Spanish or from the French or whoever. That's one of the first things you do. All right, because you have to have a system in which you can implement things to help your people. All right, and so what Esau has done, he's put his government, over all of the tribes of Israel, implemented his laws, and that's what was going on in the New Testament. We had to kind of, the scriptures say what? Pay Caesar, render Caesar that which is his. All right, then it tells you, you have to obey the law of the land, if it's not, going off. All right, so we have to kind of tiptoe around the law. But in this case, just like it says, verse 2, I'll read it again. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. That's what it's talking about. All right, the government of Israel. And when you look at, Esau, I was watching was it Kamala Harris and Mike Pence, and basically they're just, at this point, these Edomites, they're not even together anymore. All right, the scriptures talk about a house being divided cannot stand. I wanna pull up the clip, basically what he brought out. Hey, these Edomites, they're doing anything, man. They're revealing secrets, just so they can stay in power. Let's see. Okay, here's the clip where he says it. And the desperation is there, man. It's the never before have you ever seen these Edomites, jump over each other, obstruct each other, interrupt each other. That was one of the most interesting parts, man. talk over each other. All right. And because, when you're inaugurated, we know, the word augur, that goes back to soothsayer. Basically you're the top, of the brass of the Salakia. You're the top of the brass of Esau. You're the top witch. And then that's why President Trump, they show him on TV damn near every day. All right. They put his message out there damn near every day. And you have his followers. And then you have us who, we can see through what's really going on. All right. So let me see. Yeah, this is the one.
Because the reality is that we're going to have a vaccine, Senator, in record time, in unheard of time.
Right. Not a cure, a vaccine.
Less than a year.
Less than a year.
We have 5 companies in phase 3 clinical trials, and we're right now producing tens of millions of doses. So the fact that you continue to
Right, so they're in phase 3 in clinical trials. Basically, they're testing out their vaccine. All right, so the stuff right now it's already done. It's already on board. It's already green lit, ready to go. All right, not a cure, but a vaccine.
undermine public confidence in a vaccine, if the vaccine emerges during the Trump administration, I think is unconscionable. And Senator, I just ask you, stop playing politics with people's lives. The reality is that we will have a vaccine, we believe, before the end of this year. And it will have the capacity to save countless American lives. And your continuous undermining of confidence in a vaccine is it's just unacceptable. And let me also say, the reality is when you talk about failure in this administration.
And that was the main point, man. He's gonna ramble on, but that was it. He basically revealed it. Look, this is the inner workings behind what's going on. All right, and that's out of that's pretty much desperation of Esau, man. They're trying their hardest to show, the on top of things and see we've already got it. Hey, they're trying to win the election, all right. But let's see what the scriptures say, because a house divided cannot stand. This is Sirach 10:1. It says, a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. All right, and when you look at Esau, basically they look up their own history. They've kept records from their own history of what worked in the Greco-Roman Empire, what didn't work. One of the reasons it failed. Just like we look it up, we go to these little sites. They give you little tidbits of information. Well, they actually have, the Greek, the Latin, the scrolls, and all of the stuff, In many cases, they have a lot of that information still present that they can still read, they can still deal with. And occasionally they do bring it out, but for the most part, they keep it hidden, all right? Because they want to keep their hand, they want to basically be on top. It says, as the judge of the people, and here's quick evidence of that. All right, this article, I was reading. It's just real quick, lessons in the decline of democracy from the ruined Roman Republic. It says the U.S. Constitution owes a huge, just like it says in the scriptures, go into the way of your fathers. Well, that's one of the things that Esau did, and they copy a lot of things they do from the scriptures, even though they're the wicked. It says the U.S. Constitution owes a huge debt to ancient Rome. The founding fathers were well versed in Greek and Roman history. Leaders like Thomas Jefferson and James Madison read the historical Polybius, which laid out one of the clearest depictions of the Roman Republic's constitution, where representatives of various factions and social classes checked the power of the elites and the power of the mob. It's not surprising that the U.S. nascent years comparisons to ancient Rome were common. And to this day, Rome, whose 48-year-long republic, bookended by several hundred years of monarchy and 1,500 years of imperial rule, is still the longest the world has seen. Right. Aspects of our modern politics reminded. Right, exactly. All right, and that's the point. And I'm going to jump down. I think, where's the part that talks about now? So like it. It says the example of the Roman Republic shows the result of not policing these norms, and keeping violence in check is the potential loss of democracy. And what are they doing now? Oh, there's all this violence, there's shooting in Chicago, and basically they want to take away your rights on the basis of, there's violence in the streets and there's a pandemic and all this shit. Just like I said, the devil, he's gonna seeing that he has but a short time, he's gonna come down with a great wrath. It says no republic is eternal. Watch writes, it lives only as long as its citizens want it. And in both the 21st century AD and the 1st century BC, when a republic fails to work as intended, its citizens are capable of choosing the stability of autocratic rule over the chaos of a broken republic. And this indeed is a broken republic. Jumping back up. Shalakia. It says, recent events like the changes to filibuster rules and other procedures in Congress, as well as increasingly heated political rhetoric, give Watts pause. It is profoundly dangerous when a politician takes a step to undercut or ignore a political norm. It's extremely dangerous whenever anyone introduces violent rhetoric or actual violence into a Republican system that's designed to promote compromise and consensus building. The solution to keep a republic healthy, if Rome can truly be a guide, is for the citizens to reject any attempts to alter these norms, he says. I think the lesson I take away most profoundly from spending so much time with these materials is basically, yes, we do need to assign blame to politicians and individuals who take a short-sighted view of the health of a republic. Yeah, basically, they're only telling you what you want to hear just so they can get in the office. All right, put that in a nutshell. All right, but back to the scriptures, because this is the important stuff. It says, what? The scripture says the same thing. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. You look at Trump, you look at the Republican Party, even though they're divided, they play the same game. All right, it's the same, and people can see that on both sides of the aisle. All right, whatever wing of the bird you want to choose, the left wing, the right wing, it's the same animal. All right, it says, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. And you got, look at the leadership, man. Look at the lies being told, the manipulation, the games, the cons. All right, the scriptures talk about through his policy, that basically that's how these Edomites rule, man, through these different policies that they put out. These different, like Trump, he's talking about this new medicine that he used to get over COVID, a company which he invested in years ago. So now once the stock goes up, he's gonna make more money. All right, this is the long-term game that they play. All right, talking about, if he's not voted in, it's probably not going to be legitimate, and he might have to stay in office, just to make sure there's no fraudulent shit happening. But wait a minute. Wait a minute, man. You supposed to? What happened to passing off rulership, peacefully? But that's these Edomites seeing that their destruction is at an end. They're trying to grasp hold very tightly of that rulership seat. All right. And verse 3, an unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. And what do you see when you look at these Edomites, man? That the news, the media is starting to, they're starting to be exposed. Right, the truth about them is starting to be, they've been exposed, really. But every day you're seeing something new that they're doing, and the story is not linking together. The story is not adding up. It's verse 4, the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable. Let me see, but it's another one I wanted too. It's one more. Okay, that's what I want. Verse 21, the fear of the Lord goeth before the obtaining of authority, but roughness and pride is the losing thereof. And that's what you see when you see these Edomites, man. They're prideful. They're prideful. All right? Even though their empire is on fire, you know, they got all this, it's literally on fire, okay? And it's underwater at the same time, okay? You got hurricanes, floods, tornadoes, all these natural disasters occurring, all right? Lightning strikes, all right? You got, production is pretty much stopped, man. These Edomites have forgotten one of the things that made America great is the production, all right? Which they used, the Southern Kingdom and the Northern Kingdom. We had to get our hands dirty. We started that process. And then they used us for that, all right? And then tried to rewrite the story like, you know, Esau, Edom, they were the ones who was doing all the hard work. No, that was us, all right? When they had these different factories up north, guess what? They were bringing Jake up there. They might help Jake, you know, get out of the south. Oh, yeah, God is with you, and then bring you up to the north, and they put you right in the factory, all right? Or if you were in the south, they had you working. You were picking up cotton. You were picking things from the earth, all right? Because the earth is, the earth has all this different riches already in it, right? Just like the scriptures tell you, you know, every time somebody got a possession in the Old Testament, usually they had land, all right? Then they could utilize that land for, you know, whatever, cotton. Lord might give you some gold. He might give you an increase on some corn, some wine, whatever the case may be, all right? And that's pretty much it on that, man. It's not have to be a big, long, drawn-out lesson, man. Esau, man, he's just being exposed. And then the scriptures also tell you, Sirach 11 and verse 8, it said, answer not before thou hast heard the cause, neither interrupt men in the midst of their talk. Exactly. And that's exactly what they're doing, man. Interrupting each other. They got a woman up here, matter of fact. You got women up here interrupting you on the last one. All right, it also tells you what? Verse 10, my son, meddle not with many matters. If thou meddle too much, thou shalt not be innocent. And if thou follow after, thou shalt not obtain, neither shall escape by flying. And when you look at, you know, what they're doing, basically they try to discredit the next person by putting their business out of there. And you know, now you involve yourself in the matter, you know, with somebody else's personal business. You know, now people are gonna look at you crazy. All right, and that's what happens with President Trump. He tries to you know, talk shit online, and boom, some of his dirty laundry comes out, and now people aren't even surprised about it. All right, and that's one thing that Obama, when he was in office, one thing he actually didn't do, which was smart, you know, even though he's part of the wicked too. He was seen as very clean. You know what I'm saying? He didn't give a whole lot of talk about other people, and he didn't have a whole lot of information, you know, for people to see. All right, but now, you know, these Edomites are so dirty. They're so, you know, into in the game. You know, they're so lusting and prideful for that power. You know, now that we're coming to the end, that they're completely, you know, getting rid of all manners and all dignity. And, you know, it's not the same as, you know, 40 years ago when there was still that mutual respect, and, you know, men would, you know, as far as Edomites, they'd be able to talk things out and have a respectful discourse. No, that shit is out the window, man. They want blood. All right, a call halal Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai. A kingdom divided cannot stand. All right, a house divided cannot stand either. And the house of Esau, Edom, we can see is divided. All right, Abba Ball, Shalom.